it is to take this. Mostly it is said that the creation of all other things are for the service of mankind, for the service of man. Although it is not said in Quran or Hadith, but it could be understood from the verses of Quran Kareem that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Everything has been made musakhar.
Conquered.
Yes, can be conquered or made for your utilization. Everything what is in the heaven and the earth. But for the man, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have not created man and jinn except for the worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So how we should worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is the question. How we should please to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is not a matter of science, it is not a matter of thinking, it is not a matter of only mediation. As some people did mediation and they found a way, and some people think in different things and they found a way. But Allah says that those who are my representative or those who are my messengers, they are the model for you, you have to follow them. So all the prophets, they were assigned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to tell the people how is the way to worship, how is the way to please Him. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been sent at the end of all chain of the prophets. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's introduction can be divided into two parts: before Muhammad and after Muhammad. And before Muhammad, what was the condition, what was the situation? Again, there can be divided into different subjects. The condition or the situation in the religious field, the condition and situation in the social field, the condition and situation in the political field, and so on in the business, in economics. And if you want to study, and the best book on the Seerah is Seeratul Nabi Shibli Nomani, that is translated in different languages, and that was written by Shibli Nomani, and then it was completed by Mona Sayyid Salman Nadwi, and they have explained everything. Even Mona Maududi has written Seeratul Nabi, and they have also explained political, social, economic, and other conditions were worse before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's, and it is a famous socially, when they got female baby, they were mostly unhappy. Although there were ladies and gentlemen at that time. If there are no lady, then how they have a children and they reach at this moment? But they didn't like to have female baby. And Quran has explained, وَإِذَا بُشِّرَ أَحَدُهُمْ بِالْأُنْثَى ظَلَّ وَجْهُهُ مُسْوَدًّا وَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. And they were sad as they received the information or news that they got the female baby. And there are few cases, as someone received the information that he got a female baby, then he killed. Even they put in the grave alive. So this thing happened, and many cases has been recorded in the books of the Seerah. And economically, might is right was accessed. And politically, there were no central authority. Every tribe has its own leader and its own power and its own territory, like the animals of the jungle. They have their own territories and area of power, whatsoever you say. The similar situation was before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And about the spirituality, they were worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As today, in today's society, you see in India, it is said, Jitne kankar utne shankar, as many stones, as many gods in India. And in the Arab area, Arab Peninsula, the same situation was. There were many gods and for different purpose. This god is for the benefit of the business, this god is for the children, this god is for bad thing, this god is for good things. So different gods. 360 gods were kept inside the Baitullah. This was the situation. And
what is Baitullah? Some people may not know what is Baitullah.
Yes, the house of Allah, we call that in Kaaba, black house, the people used to say black house. So that was originally built to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And this was the center of Tawheed, monotheism, or oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it was used for association with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was the situation of religious. They believe in the movement of the stars, and they believe and they hope and they fear on small things. If they see some animals, they believe this day would be the bad day. Or they used to have a draw for participating in the wars, or to give benefit, or to receive benefit, or even to travel. So these were the situation. And about the Hajj, Hajj was not started from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Hajj was performed before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also. But the situation of Hajj was like they used to make tawaf, and sometimes they do tawaf without any clothes, and dress less, they do the tawaf of Baitullah, and they don't leave their homes for Hajj from their doors of the house. They used to take the back side of the house and they come for the tawaf. And the third thing, they don't spend and they don't take the money from their homes while they were going to perform the Hajj. They believe that this money should not be spent for the Hajj, and we are going for the cause of Allah and for the performance of tawaf. So God will give us, and they used to beg from the people. As today you have seen many monks who are asking, although they are not in need, don't consider they are in need, but that action is the part of their rituals, part of their training, part of their temple's activity. So they do. The similar situation was before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for the Hajj. And they have the authority. They want to stop someone, they want to allow someone. It was the situation of spirituality or religious. At that time, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is born in 570 or 571. Two different narrations are there. The Muslims normally used to remember the lunar calendar date, that is in the month of Rabiul Awwal, and which day, although there is no confirmation from Quran or Hadith, if you ask any person of Muslim, they may say that 12th of Rabiul Awwal. Although one thing is confirmed, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is born on Monday, and Monday does not appear on 12th of Rabiul Awwal, because something we have confirmation One confirmation we have that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed the Hajj, Hajjatul Wida, and Hajjatul Wida was 9th of Zulhijjah, and that was Friday, 9th of Zulhijjah. So after that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died 2 months, few days after that, and that was the day of Monday. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam born, that was the day of Monday. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated, that was the day of Monday. So it is proven from the hadith. So if we say Monday, so the 12th of Rabiul Awwal cannot come on birth or death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is why some scholars, they have made calculation and they found the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam most probably would be 9th of Rabiul Awwal or 10th of or 8th of Rabiul Awwal. That can be matched with Monday in the month of Rabiul Awwal. However, because it was not practiced in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and even after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to celebrate the birthday of any person, so that is why it is still dispute which day was the birthday of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it is not a religious requirement to celebrate a day for the birth of any person. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is born at when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's father died before the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are two opinions. One opinion is Hazrat Abdullah, who was the father of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He died 6 months after the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the most famous and most adopted opinion is he died before the birth of his child Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was in the Syria for trade journey. And while he was coming back from Syria to Medina, he spent some days in Medina, and then he died there in Medina. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the first and the only one child from Hazrat Abdullah and Amina. Abdul Muttalib was the grandfather of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He took care of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as he is born, so many scholars, they have written many things at the time of the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There were signs that was the sign of unusual, and that is not on the birth of an ordinary person. So that was the indication this child is not an ordinary child. So it has been recorded. If you would like to read it, you can go through the Sirah book of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So after the birth, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was fed by female slave Suwaiba, and he was looked after by a female slave of his father, Ayman. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to a village that is close to the Taif, and the tribe is Banu Sa'ad, and they were famous in teaching the children the pure language, that was the Arabic language. And this is the time when there is no schools or colleges as today we have. The way to teach or to train the children, it was different from today. But they used to take care of their children, and they most probably they used to send to the village for maybe for two purposes: the pollution-free area and the setting the purity of the language. And even today, the pure language can be heard or can be understood from the people who are living in the rural area. Because in the city, you find different people, they are living together and they are mixed up. So they bring a new language. So the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted the child should have the pure language. So that is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to Bani Sa'ad, and Hazrat Halima, a famous lady, and she took Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam spent few years, some says about 3 to 4 years there, and then he came back and he started to live with the mother, Hazrat Amina. Hazrat Amina took Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Medina. Medina was the city where Hazrat Amina's forefather used to live. And while coming back from Medina to Makkah with the mother, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then Hazrat Amina, the mother, died in Abwa, that is close to Medina and that is on the way to Makkah. So this was the first time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam cried because of the death of his mother. He definitely is a child, but he, the child at the age of 6, he has some understanding and something. So that is why this recording of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam crying or weeping, and the first is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was weeping at the time when his mother died at the age of 6. The female slave Ayman took him to Makkah, and then the grandfather Hazrat Abdul Muttalib used to take care of him, and after 2 years he died. So now again it was a sadness for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Abu Talib was the senior uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, took Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he started to take care of him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started to work or to contribute or to be part of the efforts of Abu Talib in his economics at the age of 11 and 12. And even the first, at the age of 12, he traveled with his uncle Abu Talib to the Syria. And as he was traveling to the Syria, and it is very famous that one of monk, or what do you say, priest in the church, he realized he is unusual child and he has seen something from the far distance, that the clouds are covering him and the trees, they are covering Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as they sit there. So he interviewed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he realized that most probably he would be the prophet that is indicated in their books. So he asked Abu Talib, it is better you should take him back to Makkah. He might be hurted in Syria because some people may not like him. So this incident is recorded as a miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the indication. After that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam traveled few times for trading to Syria and some other parts of Arab and close to the Arab. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went when he was 24 years or 25 years of age for the trade to the Syria, and he took the goods of Hazrat Khadija, a rich lady of Makkah al-Mukarramah. And then after coming back when she realized that he is a trustworthy and he is a truthful person, then she offered herself for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that she want to be the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam consulted his uncle Abu Talib and he agreed. Then he married with Hazrat Khadija. What was the age of Hazrat Khadija? It is famous, she was 40 years of age. There are some scholars again where they say no, it was not the age of 40 years, it was 30 or close to 30 age. Some scholars are, but famous, if you read most of the book, you will find that the age was 40. But some scholars have different opinion. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got married with Hazrat Khadija at the age of 25. So it is undoubtful that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was 25 years of age, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them, Rasulullah sallallahu and Hazrat Khadija, 4 daughters and 2 sons. And 4 daughters, Zainab, Ruqayya, Kulsum and Fatima. And 2 sons, Qasim and Tayyib. And that is why Rasulullah sallallahu was the Kunyat Abu Qasim, the famous. But both sons died in their childhood. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started to have a mediation in the cave of Hira at the age of 35. After 35, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take the things that is needed to eat for some days, and used to spend few days and night in the cave of Hira, and where he worshipped to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then when he was 40 years of the age, he received the first revelation, and Jibreel Amin came in a form of a man, and he said, Iqra, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I am not a person of learned or knowledgeable, so I have not learned anything, I am not able to read. So 3 times he asked, and then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to read Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq, the 5 first verses of Surah Alaq. So this was the first revelation. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, and he was scared, and came to his home. And Hazrat Khadija, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, realized that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not comfortable condition, and asked what happened. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed what he has seen there. Then Hazrat Khadija spoke some qualities of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, why you are scared? Why you are in the condition in state of fear? Allah will not leave you alone. You are the one who is helping the poor. You are the one who is taking care of the guests. You are the one who is supporting under oppression people. So you are the one who is always good for the people. So why you are in state of fear? So it means Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam manners was not only after receiving the revelation or after becoming the prophet. He had good manners even before the announcement of prophethood. And 2 famous qualities that he was famous, that was as-sadiq al-amin, trustworthy and truthful. And that is why the people used to depend. And even sometimes Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam played a role in settling the differences of different people. And one of the famous incident that happened when Baitullah, the house of Allah, was destroyed due to water flood, and they decided to rebuild with certain condition. The money should be collected. So what they collected at that time, it was not enough to rebuild on the same foundation, on the same shape. So they decided to build in a shard, in shard form, or you can say they leave some portion of Baitullah. And today what we see, it was built by the people of Makkah, Quraysh. Actually, Hatim, the area that you see the people used to pray inside the wall, that was part of Baitullah. So after the completion, it was the time when they decided to keep Hajr Aswad in the corner of Baitullah. So they were disputing, and everyone leader of the tribe, they decided to hold and keep and place Hajr Aswad in the corner. So they were disputing. At that time, they decided, okay, let them to decide among our differences a person who will come early in the morning for worship of God tomorrow. So they were waiting for that. The next day, when they saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came in the first, and they decided, okay, I decide in a way that I keep Hajar Aswad on the cloth, and you take all together this cloth till the corner of Baitullah. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam placed Hajar Aswad in the corners. So this was the settling or reconciliation among the different tribes. It is recorded even before the announcement of prophethood. And Baitullah had 2 doors and equal to the level of ground. But when they rebuilt, they kept only 1 door at that time, and still it exists in the same way. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after receiving the first revelation, and he came back to his home, and Hazrat Khadija asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would like to take you to my cousin Warqa bin Nawfal. And Warqa bin Nawfal was one of the few persons in the Makkah who was following Christianity. And Christianity was the true religion before Islam, and it was Islam that time. And Warqa bin Nawfal was a translator or interpreter of the religious book of Christianity. You can say today's terminology, the Bibles. As Warqa bin Nawfal heard the story of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as how he received the first revelation, and a person came and he offered to read Iqra bismi rabbikal ladzi khalaq, he realized that this is the sign, that is the similar sign of Moses. So he said, I believe you will be the person who is being assigned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the prophet of God. So if that case, you will face opposition from the people, and the people of Makkah, they may force you to leave this city. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was surprised whether these people who are respecting me, who are honoring me, who are saying me Sadiq and Amin, they will force me to leave this city. He said, any person who has received the message of God and he conveyed to the people, he has to face these kind of difficulties. So I used to say, when I was invited by the church, and the topic was the similarity between Christianity and Islam. So I said there, quoting this incident, first person that indicated Muhammad would be the prophet, he was a priest, Rahib, Buhaira, while Rasulullah is only 12 years of age. And first revelation receiving before accepting Islam of Khadija and Abu Bakr, the person who said that you would be the prophet of God, he was also the Christian. That is Warqa bin Nawfal. So Christianity should not keep distance from Islam, because the first recognition of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a prophet of God, that was from the Christians of that time. So they should follow also. And so then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't receive any revelation from God for 3 years. That is called Fatratul Wahi. And after that, Rasulullah sallallahu was asked, Qum fa'anzir. You stand up and you warn the people. Then Rasulullah sallallahu arranged at that time, that was the way to gather, to collect the people, and that Rasulullah sallallahu stood on the mountain of Safa and raised the cloth, and that was a sign there are some important message. Then the people gathered. And it is said Hazrat Ali was sent to different people and asked them to come and to listen. Rasulullah sallallahu asked, if I say you, there are some big army behind me, and indicated with his finger behind the mountain, and would you accept or could you believe on my information? They said, how could not we believe? Because we have experienced many times, we found you are the trustworthy and you are truthful. And ma jarrabna lakum iraran illa sidqa. So after that, Rasulullah ﷺ said, I have been appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a prophet, as a messenger of God. So you have to say La ilaha illallah and you will be successful. And the word La ilaha illallah means what you are worshipping, what you are engaged in your daily activities and especially in spirituality. So you have to leave, you have to change totally your ideas, your concepts, your faith, your belief. So it is not an easy task that you change the mind in one moment, in one speech, in one message. It takes time, but the people reacted angrily. Even the close relative of Rasulullah ﷺ, they were first who opposed and they stood up, and he was Abu Lahab, the uncle of Rasulullah ﷺ, and he said, Tabban laka ya Muhammad, and be destroyed, O Muhammad. For that purpose you have called us to stand against our own gods. So Rasulullah ﷺ didn't react as he should. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later revealed the verse, the Surah Al-Lahab, in which Allah replied him. So it was the beginning. So the people who accepted first Islam on the invitation of Rasulullah ﷺ, they were four. Among the men, Abu Bakr. Among women, Khadija. Among the children, Ali Murtaza. Among the slave, Hazrat Zayd. They were four, you can say, the foundation of Islam. They are four who are if Allah make a list of Muslims even till the day of judgment, the first name would be written, they would be these four names: Abu Bakr, Khadijah al-Kubra, and Zayd ibn Harisa, and Ali al-Murtaza. Opposition started. So actually, if you read the seerah, that is further, I told in the beginning, there are two parts. The life before Rasulullah ﷺ, life after that. And about Rasulullah ﷺ, about Muhammad ﷺ, the scholar has divided into three parts. First, before prophethood, and second, after prophethood. So after prophethood, life is again divided into two parts: before migration and after migration. So before migration is most of the life, because Rasulullah ﷺ migrated from Makkah to Medina at the age of 53. And Rasulullah ﷺ has only 63 years of age. So the time when he started to preach, it is the age of 43. And actually 13 years after prophethood, Rasulullah ﷺ stayed in Makkah al-Mukarramah. In 13 years, only few people embraced Islam, and only few commandments came from the heaven. Most 90% of activities, Islamic activities or commandment, they came after migration to Medina, when Rasulullah ﷺ took the power and he was the state commander, a state head of state. Then all the things came. So after prophethood,